Well, good morning. It is wonderful to see you once again as we continue our devotion time here on Friday. And I am continuing the topic of one thing that we have been discussing the past two times we've gathered for devotion. And here for our third time, as I have researched in our scriptures that phrase one thing, thinking about what are the things that the Bible expresses to us that are incredibly important. And I thought that phrase one thing would give us some ideas, and it certainly has. And today we're going to visit Luke chapter 10, and I'll be reading verses 41 and 42, Jesus' response to Mary and Martha. I bet a very familiar story to you. Jesus is visiting Mary and Martha, and as they are gathered, the disciples of Jesus are gathered at their house. Martha is busy cooking. And I imagine, like a lot of us, when we have guests over and maybe some family members who are supposed to help us and they're not, and we might be in the kitchen getting a little bit aggravated. Why is somebody not coming in here helping me? And apparently Martha got fed up with it and to a point where she goes out to Jesus and says, Jesus, uh, Mary's not fulfilling her role. She needs to be back here in the kitchen with me. And Jesus' response is something I bet she didn't expect, and maybe we don't expect that too when he says what he says. Let's listen to his response to Martha. So, verse 41, chapter 10 of Luke. Martha, Martha, the Lord answered, you are worried and upset about many things, but few things are needed, or indeed only one. Mary has chosen what is better, and it will not be taken away from her. Now, as I read this, I don't see Jesus saying that prepping for guests coming into the home and being a good host and having the things that they would desire and need to make the meeting time, the gathering time better is wrong in what Martha is doing. I really think that what Jesus is talking about here is setting priorities in our life. That there are certain times that opportunities come that we need to take advantage of, and as we've talked about here before, we're in this time of I guess you would say home lockdown, and it's inconvenient. It's at times a burden, but at the same time, let's not miss this opportunity of being home with family, of being home alone, that for times that we can spend with God. That let's take advantage of what we've been given. We might not have picked this particular time, but here we are. It's right before us. So don't lose the opportunities that are in the midst of we'll call it aggravations. And so I think to me, this is what Jesus is talking about. Martha, I'm here now. Maybe don't worry about a full course meal. Maybe a bologna sandwich, maybe a peanut butter and jelly sandwich will be just fine. Let's spend time together. And one of the ways I can relate to that is many of you know, for a little while I was a chaplain for hospice, and what a privilege that ministry was for me to be able to participate in that and to enter into people's lives, families' lives, and some of the more critical times in their life. And I was able to witness some of the things that went on, and there were some beautiful things, and there were some things that taught me how to maybe put things in better perspective. And one of those experiences that I had, I remember going to the uh, um, the hospice house that one of the my patients was located, and family was gathered there, and so here mom was on her deathbed, and one of the sons there, I don't know what was going on. Well, I do know. It's the emotions of seeing mom in this situation, hurting or in our last moments, and our mind just goes into particular places, and emotions come up, and sometimes we don't want to deal with those emotions, and sometimes we would rather ignore it. And his way of, I think, dealing with the pain was to get locked onto something that wasn't important. And I believe, sadly, that he missed some opportunities with mom because his mind, his thought processes, uh, with all the emotions coming at him, directed him to look at things and think about things that really weren't as important. And what it was his mom's cup, the ice had melted. And so he had asked one of the nurses one of the aides to bring some ice, and it didn't happen in the time that he was expecting, and he became aggravated by that. He walks out of the room, and he ends up disappearing from the room for an hour to 2 hours, as his mom was laying there at a time when she had woken up and was interacting with family. And by the time he got back, mom had drifted off to sleep again. And it was sad for me to watch him miss that opportunity to spend time with his mom. Now, he fortunately was able to get some more time, but these are crucial times, and mom's only awake for a little while in this particular circumstance, and to take advantage of that, to let go of tasks, to let go of things you think should be right. Mom needs her ice on her by her bedside there. We'll get it when she's asleep. But sometimes our emotions, our thought processes, we forget what's important. We forget this opportunity of a great visit. And I think Jesus is reminding Martha of that. Martha, yep, it's wonderful that you're preparing the food, that we have this available to us, but don't miss the even more important part of me being present now. Maybe this is the time to lay down the kitchen knife and just come join me. Well, food for thought today. I pray that God's peace would be with you, and maybe as you have your peanut butter and jelly sandwich today, you would spend some time at the table and just talk to God and share your joys, your fears, to your Lord, and let Him respond to you today. I pray God's peace be with you. Blessings, and we'll see you soon.